Before social media, influencers, and selfies, there was Peter Berlin, whose blonde hair, fair skin, and slim physique made him an international icon. He was the original influencer. In this episode, we're going to explore the life and work of Peter Berlin, a talented artist, photographer, filmmaker, and human being who would become a defining gay sex symbol and reluctant porn star through his photography and porn films that only had one main subject: himself. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Before we continue, please don't forget to help my channel and this audio-visual podcast by subscribing, clicking the like button, and selecting the bell icon so you can be notified every time I publish a new video. Also, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Peter Berlin was born Armand Hagen Fryer von Hoyningen-Huenen in Poland in 1942 during World War II to a family of diplomats and artists.
Being born into a blue blood family with my grandmother's side of philosophers and attachés, and then my other side of artists and photographers. You know, there's one very famous, George von Hoyningen-Huene, who was a photographer of Hollywood. And so there's where my roots are coming from.
His father, a farmer, met his mother in Berlin and the two married. When Berlin was 2, his father died as a soldier during the war, at a time when the German government was rationing weapons and firepower and sending unarmed soldiers to protect the Eastern Front. After this, Berlin's mother took her 3 children to live in the capital while the East Germans were building the wall. As a teenager and after his sexual awakening, Berlin remembers borrowing his grandmother's sewing machine and making his own clothes, not believing that clothes and fashion at the time showed off the body as they should. Berlin would spend his youth on the streets, parks, train stations of Berlin showing off and wearing leather, not for the kink of it, but rather how leather made his body look. It was around this time that Berlin would study photography, leading to a job as an in-house lensman for a German chat show. However, post-war Berlin was not exactly a thriving location for an artist of his caliber, and Berlin, with the help of a friend, made his way to Paris, Rome, New York, and finally San Francisco in the early 1970s. It was in his early 20s that Berlin one day looked in the mirror and was excited by himself. It was a new sensation, and from then on, Berlin learned how to please himself to himself. Once Berlin found himself in San Francisco, he began to shape and redefine his image while cruising bathhouses and parks. As Berlin would recount, his main thrill while cruising was in the ritualistic manner, the hunt for sex. Once someone cruising him was intrigued and enticed, Berlin was satiated and gone, leaving the cruiser wanting more.
Hey man, can't you do anything else with your cock than show it off?
Oh, I can.
So let's go fuck.
I don't want to.
What do you want?
If you don't mind, man, I like being by myself.
Oh, I'm not good enough for you, eh?
That's what you said.
You're a fucking jack-off. You'll be sorry, you bitch.
Berlin would earn his place, garnering local fame among Polk Street's most eccentric people. With the skill he picked up when he was younger, whenever Berlin couldn't find what he was looking for in the store, he turned to making his own clothes that were meant to expose as much of his body as possible, and pants that would complement and hug his trademark bulge. Berlin's photography mainly consisted of self-portraits that would appear on gay magazine covers and make him an international cult icon. Berlin was a self-loving exhibitionist who embraced his look and never shied away from anything too provocative. He would dress up for himself, and if you happened to like it as well, then great. During this time, erotic films like Boys in the Sand and Deep Throat were having lucrative theater runs. It was only a matter of time before Berlin, along with his friend director Richard Abel, got the idea of shooting footage that would become the 1972 film Nights in Black Leather. The film would feature Berlin, along with solos, oral scenes, and simulated sex. Nights in Black Leather was successful, and Berlin would then write, produce, and direct his next film, That Boy. After Nights in Black Leather and That Boy, Berlin solidified his place as a sex symbol and bona fide celebrity among the art world, rubbing shoulders with Salvatore Dali, Andy Warhol, and Robert Mapplethorpe. Warhol, along with Mapplethorpe, were the only two other photographers Berlin allowed to photograph him. Tom of Finland also immortalized him in drawings. Berlin's drive for the business end of photography and filmmaking was never stronger than his own simple want of living life and taking some pictures. He ran a mail-order business selling picture sets and videos to fans, which combined with an inheritance from a close friend was enough to let Berlin live the lifestyle he enjoyed. Berlin's fan base was large enough to make him an international icon. Of his fame, Berlin would go on to say, "It was fun in the beginning, however, once he was recognized wherever he went, the whole thing was over for him."
That is an Italian magazine, I guess, who had... Because you see, I was this internationally famous person, you know. If one thinks about it, it's true, and I am the first one who was amazed how little one has to do in order to be picked up by the press or so, because, I mean, basically, the world is sort of quite boring, so that little off the edges and, of course, what people want to hear about and read about.
Peter Berlin is probably the strangest porn star you will ever hear about. That may be because he isn't really a porn star. Berlin was his own invention, a self-created icon and enigma who through his clothes quickly became a fixture of the international streets, inciting both shock and delight to onlookers. The world today is saturated with people obsessed with taking pictures of themselves. Berlin predated them by nearly 50 years. Peter Berlin didn't create the obsession, but he unknowingly pioneered the sexualized self-portrait as we know it today. Peter Berlin is alive and well and lives a quiet life in San Francisco. The Peter Berlin character has since been retired, but in interviews, Berlin has gone on to say that he is astonished at how his image has found such an endearing home in gay history. I reached out to Peter Berlin for an interview and did not receive a response, although I am told that is not uncommon.
I still can walk and talk, and even people recognize me still as Peter Berlin, what is sort of nice, because if you can, as a 60-year-old man, get a compliment from a stranger, like en passant on the street, calling you, "You look cute," I never will forget that. Now, who in the hell with 60 years old can look cute? I said, my God, Peter, you are really good in sort of making people not see a 60-year-old man, because actually I feel like 90. And there's nothing good about old. Old is old. Nothing? No.
You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn is available on every podcast directory, as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on X, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram.
And if you like what you're watching or listening to and want to be a part of the creative process, head over to patreon.com/demystifyinggayporn, where you can help support this audiovisual podcast and YouTube channel, and I can continue making content like you've just enjoyed. Once again, this is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.
Cheers.